All right, well, as mentioned, today is all about sustainability, and we are joined here by the lovely, is it Katrina or Katarina?
Katarina.
It is Katarina.
Yeah,
I knew
that's all
it was
right.
fancy.
Oh.
We got Katarina, and she is the social media manager for Jump, but she's also a sustainable clothing aficionado who recently held an all-thrifted fashion show at Jump, which was fantastic.
Thank you. That's
yes.
awesome.
I
So
personally
fun.
was incredibly excited that you were doing something like that, especially in our community. I think it is so needed because there's so much potential for some amazing fashion, but also sustainable fashion. So tell us, how can people practice sustainability when it comes to their clothing?
I love that. So what's great is there's so many different ways to practice sustainability. I'm sure people know about the very popular one, which is thrifting.
Yes.
There's so many ways to thrift. There's so many local ones like the Idaho Youth Ranch, Savers. There's also local vintage shops like No New Vintage in downtown Boise.
Garage sailing's one of my personal favorites,
sailing.
actually.
So
Yes.
true. I didn't think about that one. That's like one of the best, actually.
Yes.
I love it. Awesome. I brought some examples here that I'd love to show you of like great things you can find. So, I mean, this coat, it's almost hard to like buy things new like this.
You seriously found this?
I found this at the Idaho Youth Ranch and it was
Holy
$20.
cow.
This is feels very soft and it's fur. And it's just like limitless potential of what you can find. It's kind of like a treasure hunt, which is an added fun bonus. And
I want to cuddle it. That's beautiful.
Right?
I
So
mean, that's a
soft.
fantastic color too.
Exactly.
right.
So many fun things and so many different styles. I feel like some of the best clothing has already been made. So being able to find those and almost giving them like a second life is my favorite thing.
I love that. Some of the best clothes have already been made. What a great statement. I'm going to walk over here because I want to take a look too, because you have found not only, like you had mentioned, that beautiful leather jacket, but you have some really fun prints here for summer, right? So
Yes.
you got some bright colors. You even got some textile kind of pieces. Is this a blanket? What would you do with something like this?
That's another thing.
Okay.
They're super fun options. Like I love to take items that are already made and make them into something else. So this was actually just a throw rug I found at a thrift store, and I was like, I want to wear embroidery like that, so I made it into a skirt. And
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to show
you
that off.
You got to whip it out.
Yes, here, you show that to the camera.
I
All right.
love it.
So this is not only finding pieces that you personally like that you can just go ahead and mix and match yourself, maybe make like a fun little outfit. But if you do happen to have a little skill set, or maybe you want to learn a skill set,
For sure.
and you can make yourself clothing out of something that inspires you. That is brilliant. Okay, so a blanket becomes a skirt.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's limitless potential. You don't have to do that. Like, for example, I love to use like basic sewing skills that are pretty easy by hand or by sewing machine, and making items a little bit shorter or a little bit more tailored to your body.
Yeah.
Like, for example, what I'm wearing right now is thrifted. I found this on Depop. You could find great ones on the internet, not only just going out in person, but also the skirt was like an awkward length. It was very long, and I wanted it to be a little bit more tailored towards me, so I just hemmed it, and it was very quick. It's very easy skill to learn. I feel like almost everyone can do it.
I love that. I love how you're saying almost anyone can do this.
Definitely,
because,
for sure.
I always think that you're never too old to learn something new. And especially during the summer, I mean, gosh, what a great thing to do with the kids, right?
Oh, so
Not
fun.
only are you practicing sustainability, but then they can find a way to do self-expression. They can find those unique pieces and learn something new, and then you can learn it together, right?
So fun.
Yeah, mom sewing with her kiddos.
I
mean,
love that.
Yeah, that sounds like a great little weekend hobby.
Yes, that actually brings me into a fun thing is my mom has like some of the most amazing clothes. So not only finding things that are in thrift stores, but maybe going to friends, you do a little clothing swap or reaching out to family, they might have some gems hidden in their closets. So kind of exploring and like seeing what you can find.
And there's a theme I'm sensing here in addition to the obvious environmental impact, right, that happens when you, instead of buying new all the time, but you find an opportunity to upcycle like you're doing. You're finding inspiration and creativity as well. But also, you'd mentioned this leather jacket here. A leather jacket, only $20. Now this skirt that you made, something like this, if you were to buy this in a fashion store, could be hundreds of dollars, right?
I'm
Same thing as a leather jacket.
For sure.
But $20.
Yeah.
How much
better than that,
right?
honestly.
How much was this?
That was also $20. So
okay.
prices range, even if you're on a budget.
Living green has a double meaning, right?
It does.
It's not just impacting, your impact on the environment, but also you save in your wallet.
Which is always always good in my
I think
my opinion.
everybody wants to live that way, right?
Yes,
Like
yes.
everyone wants to be able to save a little more money.
Awesome.
Okay, but to you though, why do you think being able to upcycle like this, in addition to that unique self-expression, learning a new skill set, but why do you think it's important, especially when it comes to kind of our imprint on our environment?
So as much as I love fashion, I mean, I think about it every day. Unfortunately, it's also one of the most wasteful things and most things that impact our environment, which is super sad. But a lot of it goes to the landfills based on like these business models of pumping out almost millions of garments every week. And realistically, consumers, we can't consume all that. We really shouldn't have to. So that's kind of the business model, and it's really unfortunate. But I like to highlight that fashion can be fun, but it can also be a little bit more conscious to the environment, so you know what your choices are impacting. So that's why I would suggest looking into some of the things we talked about. And another fun one that I love is making your own clothes, sometimes from scratch. That does take a little bit more patience, but
and
definitely
knowledge
something
too, right?
you can learn. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I learned all of it on YouTube in the past 2 years. So I have my own clothing brand even there. It's Mars Nina, the label, and I learned it all in the past year and a half. How to make clothes
On
just
YouTube.
from YouTube. So
On YouTube.
anyone
Okay.
can do it. I
Man,
promise.
it's a different day and age. I'll tell you
Yes.
that. That is so exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I greatly appreciate your insight on this and the inspiration as well.
pleasure.
I certainly hope that many of us watching can take your tips and live more sustainably, but also save some money.